So then, we are back with more understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Tzayelic lineage, so then we can understand the time of the end. As per Yeshayahu the prophet, we find layers of understanding of the spring feast, the autumn feast, and also the returning of the cities of the Messiah laid waste for many centuries. As we read then Yeshayahu the prophet, we read a layer of understanding on the 61st chapter, where the Messiah then completes the spring feast, and also we are awaiting for the autumn feast, so then this age can close, and then we can move on to the next way of life. So then, as far as we can understand from Galah or Revelation, where are we at as far as Galah is concerned? Prior of the cities of the Messiah returning, we find then we are in Daniel the 11th chapter, and then we are layering with Galah or Revelation, knowing if you are then saved, you must understand Revelation, otherwise you are not saved, because the Messiah explains then Galah or Revelation for the purposes of salvation. These, however, shows us then on chapter 1:8, where we find then the prelude of what's going on in the earth regarding then the new system of trade and obviously tabernacling. Now, as we read then Galah or Revelation, they are not in chronological order. Those people who were involved then later in translating the documents, they did not understand then the position of these documents, and they did not layer them properly. However, when Yohanan was then doing his work on a first holy city, he organized these documents very properly. So where are we at as far as the trade of the world? Well, China has done it again. As usual, China has the leadership of this new trade of this time of the end. But let's verify what's going on by reading then a very popular and very important newspaper from Great Britain known as the Reuters. We find then Alibaba's end financial to buy 25% of India's 197. It's very important to read this because it's extremely important. And Financial Services Group, and also its friends of China's Alibaba Group Holding, has then concurred to buy 25% of Indian payment services provider 197. Obviously, is going to tap into the country's smartphone and online industry. So then, only this section of it is already given you an understanding of the amount of money involved with this and the importance of having this system linked up with China. So then, as we read this situation, people are then paying utilities and whatsoever they can get their hands on, plus doing e-trade via computer. So as we understand, India and China, they are part of the new system of BRICS. So then we find China coming up with other deals extremely important for the world, because truly the aim of China is providing jobs worldwide. But then the situation is a person must go out and work. If people they are trying to only sit around and doing nothing and trying to get paid a lot of money, there is obviously very limited space for these kinds of people. But as we understand, China is then worldwide influencing itself further and buying these new payment systems, so then each of these nations can get the most of the benefits from this Chinese system. As it was before said many times, already said, the Chinese system is coming, the Chinese system is coming, and the Chinese system is coming, and it surely did. So we are finding then this great company, Alibaba, already helping then the worlds with their problems and linking up with the system. So then, what do we find then in the holy instructions regarding this new system? So then, chapter 1:8 of the law or revelation. Let's understand it then where we read these. And the merchants of the earth will mourn over her, because no one purchases their cargo. No more the cargo of gold, silver, precious stones, and pearls, and fine linen, and purple, and silk, and scarlet, and every aromatic fragrances, and also ivory and precious fragrances of then bronze, iron, marble, and then ammonia, aromatics, unguents, frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine oil, and wheat, and beasts of burden, and horses, and animals, and so on, and the list goes on and on and on. What can we understand as far as why the Messiah then is explaining cargoes of ships rather than kingdoms? It's very simple, because the freighters of the earth are then in charge of these end of times. That's why the Messiah then explains no longer kingdoms, but freighters. So then we find China, and the area of China, a bit of it south of it, Singapore, and the areas of shipment, those areas are prominently explained by the Messiah himself. So then what can we expect of the layer of the Gentiles regarding the future? Extremely important, linking up governments with freighters. But how then these should be done? And what is the reason behind it? The reason is the new system is obviously an electronic system using computers and telephones for purchases and payments. This obviously is going to come up with more virtual monetary systems from abroad and from local governments, but then either money using charges of taxes must be then performed. Now, if a person is using then a monetary system outside of its country, how are they going to charge taxes? Thus then the importance of joining up with the freighters of the earth, so then the data can be used for the purposes of taxes, and instantly gathering these taxes, and then via internet is then obviously placed in the monetary system of its own government. This truly shows the importance of gathering taxes. Now, as far as nations, they won't come up with a new system of tracking of packages, because the Messiah himself already gave the answer via Yohanan. And the freighters of the earth, they are already in charge, and we understand the future based from what the Messiah has said to his servant, the Shaliach Yohanan, centuries ago. So then, for those people who are skeptical, and then sometimes they don't understand the holy instructions, it is imperative during these next couple of years, investing then regarding infrastructure, ports and airports and roads and trains and whatsoever logistics are concerned. When the new system becomes available via online, there won't be time for improvements, because of the volume of packages and the volume of these products are going to be so high, and the nations won't be able to cope with them. And if these products are destroyed by the insurance involved with the freighters, then the countries must pay for the damage. So the Creator is obviously, through His words and through His holy instructions, giving time so then the nations can structurize themselves, and then later on not finding wanting. This truly shows in the 20th chapter of Galah, for instance. It shows the Dragonic period. It shows, for instance, the freighters of the earth taking over. Not the fact of taking over as leaders of a government, but leaders of a new system of trade where the governments must line up with them because they are providing taxes. So then, with this in mind, we then watch the news closely because China is truly becoming global. And as we understand in Spain this year, in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th day in March, they're going to have the most important mobile gathering in the world. Obviously, they are going to start making this new system of China more prominent, and with new telephones and computers, they will be able then to get the system going even further. So we're going to explore this area next time, and then we should watch the news more often because nations are truly working and cleaning up themselves for the new system of China. So please stay tuned, much more coming up.